let's talk about the quiz. So why are definitions so important? Okay, why are definitions so important?
So you know what a word means.
You know what a word means. That's essential, right? Mathematics is a foreign language. In your math classes, you've used words like factor, quotient, numerator. All of those words have no meaning until you learned what they meant, and now you know what the mathematics is behind it. We're doing the same thing in here. But that's only half the reason. What's the other half of the reason?
So that you can, if you forget, you can look them up again.
Well, I mean, it would be helpful if you knew the definition. You wouldn't have to look them up again. But what's another reason? No, not really. Not really to look smart. What have we been doing a lot of, especially in our homeworks? Truth tables. How do definitions help us in truth tables? How do they help us?
So we know, like, what to write into the columns?
Yeah, each one of those definitions is a set of instructions. When I see a conditional, what am I supposed to put? No, for a conditional, what am I supposed to put? I put a false if when? Antecedent is true and the... So what do I put if I don't put a false?
True.
I have to put a true. These definitions are instructions, step by step. How do I fill out a truth table? And we've talked about two reasons why truth tables are important. One, because in order for us to find out if two statements are logically equivalent is a relationship that's only valid if two given statements have identical truth outcomes.
So like if they're both true or they're both false.
At the same time, in the same places, yes. And then the other thing we talked about yesterday was an implication. An implication is a relationship that's only valid if...
The resulting conditional is a tautology.
Right. And of course, one of our vocabulary words on here was tautology, right?
Yes.
We need to know all of these definitions in order to be able to successfully prove that two statements mean the same thing. True at the same time, false at the same time. And when they don't mean the same thing. So, with that being said, what is a statement? Hey, what's a statement?
A sentence that is either true or false.
Sentence that is either true or false. Great. How about a negation?
A statement that has opposite truth value of a given statement.
Has the opposite truth value of a given statement. How about a conjunction?
A conjunction is a statement that is only true if two given statements are both true.
Exactly. And a truth table?
A truth table is a table that shows all possible true outcomes.
Okay, excellent. How about a disjunction? Yes, sir. All right. Yes, sir.
I have a question.
Yes.
That's not on the quiz.
Okay.
What if you were to negate the negation of a conditional?
Well, if you negate a negation, that's double negation. So those means I get back to my original statement. So the negation of a conditional would be back to my conditional.
Why do we do that? But
The thing is, we've got some rules. Trying to answer a question, it's not easy. We're going to have some situations, especially next week we'll see it, where we have to take the negation of a statement, and if that statement already has a not in it, already has a negation in front of it, the easiest thing to do is just take it away and say, oh, double negation, it disappears.
So if there's a double negation,
It cancels out, which is why he asked the question, what's the negation of a conditional? It would just be the original conditional.
I thought it would be, since the negation of a conditional is a conjunction with the consequent negated, I thought it would be a disjunction with the antecedent negated.
Exactly. That would also happen. Remember, we had denying the antecedent. We said one of the ways that we could write we could say that P conditional Q is logically equivalent to negation P disjunction Q for that very reason. So yeah, you are right. And that was the denying the antecedent that we talked about.
So that's also equivalent to P conjunction negation Q.
The negation of that, yeah.
Okay, so it's the exact same basically.
Right.
All three of them.
Yes, go. Okay. All right, so we only have one vocabulary word for today, and it's something we're going to be using for the next week or so, and that's argument. Okay, so an argument is a reasoning that the conjunction of two or more statements called premises imply another statement called the conclusion. All right, so an argument is a reasoning that the conjunction of two or more statements called premises imply another statement called the conclusion. So what I want to do is I want to talk about the difference between what we did yesterday. Yesterday, we talked about it from a symbolic standpoint. We said that when we have an implication, God bless you, we need to change that to a conditional and add those three little words is a
statement.
No, start with a T.
Is a tautology.
Is a tautology. That's what we did yesterday. Yesterday we were dealing exclusively with symbols. Today we're going to be talking about sentences. So we're going to have to start off with sentences, and we're going to have to change them to symbols and then work with those symbols. So I'm going to write a paragraph on here. It's a short paragraph, 3 sentences. So don't feel, I know there's a lot of writing today.
You write it right?
Yes, please. So I'm going to tell you that if Jenny goes to the mall,
she will buy a CD.
Then she will buy a CD. Jenny bought a CD.
She went to the mall.
Therefore, she went to the mall.
What if she just went to a different store?
Well, we're going to talk about that in just a few moments. The first thing I want to do, though, is I want to take this paragraph and convert it to symbols. So I'm looking at that first sentence. The first sentence says, if Jenny goes to the mall, then she will buy a CD. What are the key words in that sentence?
If and then.
If and then, and those are the key words for what type of statement?
Conditional.
For a conditional statement. So I know I'm dealing with some type of conditional statement.
So it's if, M, then C?
You want to call it M and C?
Yeah.
So you're using M to represent Jenny goes to the mall. Could I use J for Jenny?
Yeah.
Could I use G for go?
Yeah.
Could I use P because we use P all the time as the antecedent?
Yes.
Is there anything wrong with using those letters?
No.
Do you get to choose the letters?
Yes.
That's what makes this really nice. You get to choose the letters. So you
Unless
said
it
M
says
conditional C, right?
Yes.
So C represents CD. Could have been B for buying, could have said S for she. Any of those would work. That's my first sentence written in symbolic form. Okay? If, that's the conditional part, Jenny goes to the mall, we're letting M represent that statement, then she will buy a CD.
You're just breaking it up.
I'm just breaking it up into each sentence. How do I know where a sentence stops? Period or question mark or exclamation point or semicolon, all that wonderful punctuation. Yes, sir.
What would therefore stand for in like the statement wise?
Therefore is going to be very important. Therefore is actually our implication because we talked about how it has to imply another statement called the conclusion.
Oh. Okay.
It tells us, hey, I'm the conclusion.
So
But I want to talk, that's going to be our conclusion, but we're going to talk about what letter we're going to use. Okay? Now, what's the next sentence? Who can read the next sentence for me? Yes, sir.
therefore she went to the mall.
Well, I'm not there yet. You're skipping a sentence. What's the sentence you're skipping?
Oh.
Because we just said if Jenny goes to the mall, then she will buy a CD, period.
Jenny bought the CD.
Jenny bought a CD. Now, does anyone hear a not in there?
No.
Or an and?
No.
Or
No.
if and only if?
No.
If then?
No.
So this is not a compound statement. This is not a statement that we've made modifications to. I'm going to be using a single letter to represent this statement. And someone's already told me the letter.
C.
It's C, isn't it?
Yeah,
Because notice we say she will buy a CD, and then we say Jenny bought a CD. And we've mentioned that the tense is something we're going to kind of be loose about. will buy or has bought or did buy, all of those are meaning the same thing for us. Our second premise is just C. There's no conjunction, disjunction, negation, conditional, because there's none of those key words. We're just at our basic statement. But now we hit the word therefore. This is a big blinking light. Therefore tells us that this is our conclusion. What's our conclusion?
She went to the mall.
She went to the mall.
Therefore,
Therefore, she went to the mall. She went to the mall is the statement that we're looking for. Tell me about she went to the mall.
She went to the mall.
Okay.
and
Just M, right? Jenny goes to the mall. Jenny went to the mall. She went to the mall. Jenny's the she we're talking about, right?
Wouldn't it be like PG?
Well, the thing is, because I saw that keyword therefore, it's telling me that this is our conclusion. So I'm using conc, C-O-N-C, to tell me that this is my conclusion. I don't want to put C because C would kind of be confusing because C is also, she bought a CD, Jenny bought a CD.
There could be different words for therefore, right?
Right, there could be different words for therefore. We're going to see the word therefore a lot, though.
It could be so.
So, or hence, there's lots of different ways that we could say that. So this is step one. Step one means I'm going to take this paragraph and convert each sentence into logic symbols. That's step one. For step two, I need to come up with an implication. I need to come up with some type of statement that we can prove using a truth table. And for this, I go back to the definition. I say an argument is a reasoning that the of two or more statements. I have to put two statements together. What are my premises?
and C.
M conditional C, that's my first premise, because that's what came first, the first sentence. What's the other premise?
Conditional C, conjunction C.
Conjunction C. Now notice, M conditional C, this was a whole sentence, so I'm putting that whole sentence in parentheses, because I need to make sure it stays together. And the conjunction of these two statements has to imply, that's an implication,
M.
M, another statement called the conclusion. Our conclusion is M. So once I've got each sentence in this statement form, I need to put it together in a package. That's step two. I need to take these premises and conclusions and make an implication out of it. So now we're on step three. For step three, what do I do with an implication? Turn it into a conditional. An implication is a relationship that is only valid if the resulting conditional
Is
a tautology. So I need to rewrite this. Conditional M, and I want to say is a tautology. Now remember, I don't know if it's a tautology yet. That's why I'm using the question mark here. But at least now I have something that I can definitely look at a truth table for. Because a tautology is a statement that is always true. So, the question I've been asking every time we do a truth table, how many letters do you see up here?
2.
What are they?
M and C.
M and C. Now this is a truth table. We're used to seeing P and Q, but this is M and C, and that's fine. The letters don't matter. The patterns are what's important. That's why we learned the definitions. So what do I put for the first column of this truth table? True, true, false, false. And for the second column?
True, false, true, false.
Great. So what do I do next? We do parentheses. We have M conditional C. A conditional is a statement that is only false if the...
Consequent is false.
So which row are we false?
Second.
That means what?
All the rest are true.
All the rest have to be true. And what am I doing with this parentheses?
You're making it
Conjunction with C. So a conjunction is a statement that is only true if...
Statements are both true.
So where are the third column and the first column both true? First row. Anywhere else? Third row, yeah. Wait, what? That means everything else in this column has to be
False.
false. This is our antecedent. It's the statement that comes first in a conditional.
So it's
What's my consequent?
It's the same as C.
So I'm looking for trues here and falses here to do bracket conditional M. Third row,
When
third
conditional
row is
M.
false.
Okay.
yeah, because I had the brackets conditional M. M is my consequent.
So it's not a tautology.
Oh, it's not a tautology. That means this argument is not valid. So I want you to tell me what's happening here. Because this is the situation, this is the initial conditions where it's not valid. What's happening there?
Wait,
Where I just boxed those letters. What does this F mean?
false.
What does the F mean?
False.
False. What's false? She didn't go to the mall. And what does this true mean? So in other words, if she didn't go to the mall and she bought a CD, then I'm going to have a problem. Where else could you buy a CD?
On the street.
On the street, you could buy it from a vendor.
Some guys
Best Buy.
You could go to Best Buy, or you could go to any big box store you could go.
Our friend gave it to me on the way.
Yes.
CVS and you go to that red box.
Okay. What if a friend bought a CD and I just bought it off of him? A friend brought a CD to school and I just bought it?
Yep.
So that would be a place. Could I go on Amazon.com or any other website to buy a CD?
Well, that's not a place.
Well,
It's a website.